After miserable start to the season, launching after lockdown, five of us decided that we would sail to Conwy for a couple of days. Sienna, Lily Fox, Kingfisher, and ourselves in Sultan Spirit. We were looking forward to the sail. We first set off to Llanelli Moor over on the Welsh coast, just across the estuary from the Sailing Club, where we stayed the night, ready for an early getaway in the morning on the morning tide. It was a lovely evening. The sun was setting, everything was calm, and we rested outside what we know as the Fun Ship, but it's actually Llanelli Moor. A very peaceful night. We decided to take a look at the weather, which was looking really good. Very calm in the morning. This is 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun was well risen, and we were thinking, okay, let's go for it. Because the weather has been so changeable over the last couple of weeks, well, months really. It was very touch and go whether we would decide to go. But with the forecast being good, maximum force 3, possibly 4 on occasions, we thought that would be a good time to set off to Conwy. And so off we went.
Over. Nearly anyway, over.
Poor Noel's working on his rigging.
He's working on it, over.
One of the sides have come
I've
across.
also got seizing wire to lock it, or anything you need, just say, over.
Yeah. 10 to 12 knots, gusting 15 on occasions. Quite nice sail at the moment. Just heading out. Again, using the channel, the Salisbury Channel. Quite a nice morning. Everyone's sailing well. Yeah. I was just coming out the Salisbury Channel now. Away from Moston Docks. All's looking good. Little did we know, some 3 hours later, the skies began to darken. The wind picked up. It went from 10 knots to 12, then to 17. A lot of people started to reef their sails, and we got up to, I think the maximum was about 22 knots around this section as we came round to Lecker and headed down the stretch to the Great Orme. Became very bouncy, very unpredictable, and often very difficult to control the boat because the waves were increasing in size as we went. Sometimes it'd calm and we'd get a nice slack section between 15 and 17 knots of wind, but Noel here is reefed and he was sailing quite well, and we'd let the sails out again and we'd be away. But then as we got closer to the Great Orme, it became more and more difficult, and then the winds picked up well into 22, 25, and then 27 I think was the maximum we recorded for any length of time, and it was, you know, 10-15 minutes, 27 knots. And this section here shows Duncan's clip from his boat when he was heading towards the Great Orme, and just shows you the boats.
Going around the Great Orme just before
he's got a Hurley 22.
Low water, so pretty slack. Choppy,
really
wind picking up, coming direct from the west. Yeah, around this soon. Out!
Over to the Great Orme, calmed down, it's down to 10 knots again now, which is a pain. I don't like it at 25, but I certainly could do it a bit more than 10 knots. But we're getting there anyway. Apparently it's forecast for 4-6 come 6 o'clock, right the way through till 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm just hoping we get round the Great Orme before that kicks in, otherwise we will be in trouble. As we rounded the Great Orme, it became a lot windier again, this time coming over the starboard side, but it helped us sail pretty fast right down towards the channel where we needed to get into Conwy. We put the engine on just in case to make sure that everything was all right, just in case we had to fight the wind, because we were running very close to the wind at this stage. Wind's died, 11 knots now.
Yeah, typical, isn't it?
And go around the big S bend.
Is it worth putting that sheet, putting the Genoa sheet in a bit?
Yeah. Conwy Marina, a welcome sight. With all of this.
Watching in the back, very, very shallow here. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, be right at the bottom of the G.
Yeah.
Probably will.
It's a lovely night in Conwy Marina. A couple of the boats, Kingfisher, Lily Fox and Wild Magic, decided to stay. They were heading over to the Conwy, and they were going to stay there for a couple of weeks, which meant that we would bring them back, all the crew and captains of those boats, Andy, Richie, Noel, Emma and Duncan. We would fetch them back to our moorings, as we were planning to come back in a week or 2 weeks' time. So that was arranged. We had a good night. We all ate well, although the pub, the Mulberry was closed when we got there, so we had to order in food, but that was fine. And then the next morning, there's Duncan leaving for the Conwy. Noel leaving for the Conwy. They're all off now.
How's your head?
Yeah, but how are you feeling? Just as they were all leaving for the gangway, Andy reversed onto his tender line, catching it, and therefore deserved an early warning swim.
How deep is it?
Jellyfish behind you.
Well done, Andy.
Is it over
Your
here?
radio them just to tell them I'm...
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you need to get warm, don't you? You're going to be all right to travel.
Wouldn't be sailing without drama, would it?
No.
Normally they get ropes that wrapped around it, you know, you got
Yeah.
you must
But it was only a short one.
Yeah, you must have realised.
You did, yeah.
Andy, you better dry yourself off, Andy.
Yeah, hold a minute, mate.
Well done, lad. Well done, you.
Team well, Maggie.
Cheers, man. I'm with you.
Andy swimming and taking his boat over to the gangway. We got everybody on the relevant boats, and then we all headed back to Thurston. The sail was a lot better than on the way there, but we still had a few problems in terms of the time it took because the wind was yet again just on the nose. We managed to get some reasonable sailing in, but it was not ideal. But we arrived in good time and managed to get some food down us on the way. The weather at least stayed good until the end when it started to overcast.
Whatever he sailed, in it, Gary, you done amazing. Yes. Yeah, he next Bobby. He went out. He lived out in Thailand. And he was training the entire Olympic team. Yeah. No matter what he sailed, his next Bobby has to work with him. Yeah. Smashing, is he? Hey? Yeah. Brotherly.
We're just going round the Great Home now. Well, we're heading to the edge of the Great Home and then we'll be turning. With the wind behind us, a lot better than Friday on our way here, which we didn't even have time to film because it was that bloody bad. But anyway, we're getting there. Hopefully it'll be like this all the way.
Are you at the tiller then, man? Are you on the tiller?
No, there's nothing.
Oh, no. What's the difference? Oh, it's Sunday today. The cocktails one.
Just coming up to Salaka now.
They're not doing something.
Who? Yeah. Just level with Grill now. Entering the channel, the Wild Road. The Wild Road.
The other one's the Welsh steep, isn't it?
Yeah. Finally got the Jenica up. No. Just coming up to the wind farm now. I've got that on video. Thank you.
Charming, thank you. How rude. My phone around it.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I put it on charge for a minute?
No. Help yourself. That's mine.
How is it?
Thank you. Try one on my leg, see if we can get some of this paint off my leg.
If it's paint,
It's only the
after a reasonable sail, we ended up back on the moorings. It was late at night, but we managed to get back safe and sound, and a good sail. Thanks to everybody.